Hello, my friends. Jeff, Tax Rescue CPA. Do you owe the IRS and can't pay in full? Well, you're not alone. And many taxpayers panic in this situation, fearing IRS aggressive collection actions, massive penalties, and even wage garnishments. This is when the tax resolution companies will swoop in, promising relief for a hefty fee. Now, I got two secrets you need to know. The first one is that the vast majority of taxpayers in this situation will end up resolving their tax debt through an installment agreement. Okay, we're talking over 90% of folks end up in an installment agreement to fix this. Number two secret is that you can set up an installment agreement yourself, often in minutes, online. Let's talk about the steps to get there and avoid the hefty fees of a tax resolution company. All right, step one is to file all of your tax returns. Before the IRS is going to agree to an installment agreement, you need to be caught up on your tax return filings. Now, if you try to request an installment agreement and you don't have all those filed, it's going to be denied. So find a CPA specializing in back tax filing. This is someone who handles the old filings, can get them all filed electronically through the mail and get you caught up. Make sure they're filed accurately to minimize penalties and interest. And you want to avoid tax resolution companies at this point that focus on negotiating a tax debt before the returns are even filed. These companies are often going to charge a large upfront fee, and they can't even help you until all these returns have been filed. Once they have been filed, then you're eligible to set up an installment agreement or even seek other types of resolution. But the key is to get the tax returns filed. Okay, so let's jump to an installment agreement. So what is an installment agreement? Well, this is a payment plan with the IRS. It's basically asking for a loan after you've borrowed the money. So you owe the taxes, but you can't pay it. Hey, can I pay you over time, making payments every month generally, 9 times out of 10. Okay, so what types of payment plans are there? Well, we have a short-term payment plan. And this one, if you owe less than $100,000 and you can pay the debt off in less than 6 months, you're eligible for this one. And this one's great because it's pretty much an automatic. It's quick and easy, no setup fee. And you can apply online. We'll get to that in a little bit. The second type is a long-term payment plan. Now this one, as it sounds like, is going to give you more time to pay. You need to be under $50,000 worth of tax debt and set this up to 72 months. There is a setup fee that varies depending on your situation and circumstance, and these can be set up online also. All right, the third type, this is where we get into basically all the other ones that are custom. There's even partial pay installment agreements, but these are for folks that either owe more than what I just talked about or have special circumstances that they need to work out a custom plan with the IRS. Now there's another option, and this one's rare, but I want to touch on it so you don't think I'm leaving it out entirely, and that's the offer in compromise. And you've probably heard commercials promising to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar. That's an offer in compromise. And the reality is that of all the people that will apply for an offer in compromise, only about 30% are actually eligible and receive or get an offer in compromise accepted. Okay? The IRS will only approve an OIC if you can't afford to make the payment or to pay it in full, your assets and your income don't cover the debt, and you also meet strict IRS guidelines about who is eligible and what offers can be accepted. So let's go back to the payment plan. How do you apply for a payment plan? Well, there are actually 3 ways to do it. The first way and the fastest way is online. Go to irs.gov/payments. There, if you scroll down, you're going to find a button that says apply for a payment plan. You're going to enter some information, go through the process, and oftentimes it will get approved in minutes. That's the quickest, fastest way to get an installment agreement set up. The other ways are by phone. You can call and talk to them to an agent work through all the information and get it approved on the phone, or you can mail in a request form for the installment agreement. Now let's keep in mind, or let's talk about a second, what happens if you miss a payment. This is an agreement to pay in a certain amount every month until the debt is paid off. If you miss one payment, the IRS is going to send a warning. This is a letter. You're going to get a letter in the mail saying, we missed a payment. If you miss multiple payments, your agreement may default, and then the IRS could then resume collection actions or begin collection actions on the remaining debt. These are things like garnishments and bank levies. Okay, and then, so the point of this is if you're struggling to pay, rather than just missing the payment and ignoring it, call the IRS, talk to them, explain what's going on, and see what you can work through before it gets worse. Now, when might you want to bring in a tax pro? Obviously, there are times, that's why I'm here, that you're going to need a tax pro. So let's talk about those. You might need to seek out professional help if you owe more than $100,000, if the IRS has already begun collection actions. So if you're dealing with liens or levies or garnishments, this may be a time to contact a tax professional. Also, if you want to negotiate a lower payment, these are some of the situations where you're in a financial hardship and you want to talk about the partial pay installment agreement, like I mentioned earlier, or the offer in compromise, or even to be placed into currently non-collectible status. The other reason would be is you simply just have complicated financial situations that need some negotiation or some communication of these things to the IRS. Find a tax pro to help you with those. All right, so final thoughts on this is don't fall for the scare tactics of tax resolution companies that are charging you thousands of dollars up front, and they haven't even filed the tax returns and don't even know exactly the extent of your situation or your problem and what the best resolution would be. The IRS payment plan system is straightforward, and it exists online to help thousands and thousands of taxpayers because it's the most common way the tax debt gets resolved. If you need help, consult a reputable tax professional, okay? Not a sales-driven resolution company. Do you still have questions about tax debt? Contact me. Like and share for more tax-saving tips. Who's doing your taxes?